Merry meet and welcome to the general reading for all signs for today, the 25th of January 2024. We are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Moderating on YouTube are the lovely Jennifer and the lovely Diane, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Heather. Thank you so much, moderators, and thank you to everybody for joining us today. I'm reading today with this Gasman Tarot, Ancient Tarot redone. And let's purify with this Florida water, which I have put some in this little spray bottle, so I can give 3 sprays in this nice big room instead of smudging. And if you're watching us on YouTube on a restream and you want to fast forward through all my shuffling, you're more than welcome to do that by using the timestamps right in the video description of this video. This does go out to a lot of people, so if for some reason it doesn't seem to make sense to you, just doesn't seem to hit, you can just disregard it because it may not indeed be meant for you. In that case, check out the zodiacal readings for your own individual sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign, all of which are available for easy restream on my website, arielscorner.com. arielscorner.com, just click on the free online tarot readings link right in that main menu. If you are watching us on YouTube, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you're watching on Twitch, please make sure you follow us on Twitch, and you can watch on Twitch without any ads when you subscribe to us there. If you are a Amazon Prime member, you I think you get 1 free Twitch subscription, so you may want to check that out if you want to subscribe to us. It may not actually cost you anything. We have a shop at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. We make a small commission off of each and every sale. It's a fun, easy way to support our channel. Another way to support us is through a donation. And you can donate by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga, or on YouTube using a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks. We do appreciate your support. But mostly what we appreciate is that you're here today for this general reading for all signs. And this deck is feeling very shuffled. I'm going to do one more just for good measure. Then I'll cut this deck using a nice clean cut, and we will see what's in the cards for everybody today, the 25th of January, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here today. Starting out with the Hanged Man, followed by an Ace of Coins, and a 3 of Wands. The sooner you get down off your tree, the sooner you'll find the goodies. Right? That this tree here, this Hanged Man, this is somebody that, the Hanged Man is when we are feeling sort of victimized and we feel like we have to sacrifice ourselves. We feel, sometimes it can even be feeling humiliated, or like nobody understands us, or why does this always happen to me? Those kinds of things. And hanging with our hands tied behind our backs, just totally victimized. Now, we are never here to discount a victim, right? If you're being victimized, and you do need to stand up for yourself. So nobody should ever feel like it's their fault if they're being victimized by something. But it is your responsibility to use your sacred power of no, whether or not you're victimizing yourself or somebody else is doing it. You have got to learn how to put your foot down, turn things around in your mind, and say, no, I'm standing on my own 2 feet. I know what to do, and you can't hurt me. You can't tell me what to do. You do not have power over me. And I take my power back first in my mind. And when I take my power back in my mind, everything else follows suit. And that's exactly what many of you are already doing. Many of you have already taken to that. If you haven't, then you're not yet getting the results of doing so. Because as you get down off of that, as you put your foot down in your mind, the results are pretty astounding. A new opening for many of you, finally, financially. The stuff that you've always been, struggling with and wanting, it just can't seem to get to work. Once you really put your foot down and say no when you mean no, and yes when you mean yes, it sets the ball in motion. for that money to really open up and start to manifest for you in absolute real ways, nothing theoretical whatsoever. Also, there is a manifestation of very meaningful work for you. Now, this is stuff that you've been maybe working on for a long time and maybe feel like you haven't had a voice, maybe felt like you weren't allowed to move freely into what you wanted to do. And once you put your foot down and you make that choice, all the opportunities come, they follow, just because of your decision, the power of your decision. I'm going to say no to this, whatever is standing in my way. I'm going to say no to being victimized. I'm going to say no. I'm going to use my sacred power of no. And when you do that, the cosmic forces that are unleashed are unstoppable. And a lot of the things that you've been trying to make happen for so long in your work really start to manifest, really start to make themselves available to you on a larger scale. And it becomes very organic because of your decision that you have made. So it's an amazing, amazing day for many of you. And I don't think this is just a today reading. I think it's very up to date, but this Ace and this 3, these are talking about long-term effects. So it's really good. Okay, let's look at this upper panel here. We've got this Knight of Wands, followed by a 5 of Wands, followed by a Pope card. Yeah, finally letting yourself get angry about something. Finally not just trying to be so spiritual about everything all the time. Because we have a warped idea of what spiritual looks like. Oh no, spiritual means I suppress my anger and I never say what I want to say and my voice is stifled and I'm just sitting here and the only thing I'm allowed to say is Om. No, that is not spiritual. That is definitely not spiritual. And so allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to not only say no, but to say it loud, to say it loudly. Excuse my adjective in place of an adverb there. Loudly, say it loudly. I said no, and I mean no, and if you keep messing with me, you'll see what I'm made of. And people aren't used to that, maybe from many of you. And good for them for being a little bit startled and waking up to the fact that, whoa, I guess we can't push them around. I guess they really do mean this. And standing up to these authority figures that have been so scary for so long. That like, oh, I can't. Oh, I'm just so powerless. And finally, when you get angry enough about it, just like, how about no? Right? No is a complete sentence. So when these supposed or perceived authority figures come looming by and you go, no, where do they face? The other way. Look at this. You're like, anyway, I've got to talk to somebody else now, right? So your sacred power of no gets everything happening. It more than just starts the ball rolling, it shakes things up. And it's okay for you to be angry about things because you don't need to be toxic about them, right? We're not saying to go out and be mean to people. We're not saying to go and rage at people and be toxic around people and make everybody feel bad. We're just saying that it's okay for you to allow some anger to come up in you so that you can finally get the courage to say, I said no. I said no, and I mean no. Maybe you didn't hear me the first time, but I'm going to say it one more time. And if you make me say it another time, you're going to know why not to do that. I said no, right? That's an absolutely sacred attitude. You're being assisted, this Knight of Wands, you're being helped and assisted into going forward with your wonderful life, unencumbered by these ideas that you have to sacrifice yourself and that your voice needs to be silenced and that you can't do anything about something. And you're finally realizing that's not true. I do have a voice, and my voice is just as valid as every other voice. And as long as I have the voice for truth and I'm speaking my truth, you're not attacking anybody. You're not out to get anybody. You just want to succeed. You just want your life to work. And when people come and even unbeknownst to themselves. Sometimes people don't mean it, right? It's important to understand that. That's why we don't want to be toxic with our anger. But sometimes people need to hear it with a little bit of fire. Listen, I said no, and I'm not going to say it again, and don't piss me off. Right? Especially if that's not kind of who you are, that you don't allow yourself to have that kind of a voice. It shows a greater impact when it needs to be there, right? Because you're not asking for or demanding anything that isn't your birthright. And your birthright to be happy, to be successful, to be free, to be prosperous, to do the work that you came here to do unencumbered, that right is unassailable. It's your right, and nobody can take that away from you. They can try, but you can stand up to that. And there's always a way to stand up to it. And as long as you've got your choice made, you've decided, no, I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to flip the script on all of this. I am not a victim. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. I have a voice, and I'm going to start with one word. And we know what that word is, all of us. Say it with me. No. Right? When you start with that, when you start with no today, you're in a good space. I know that doesn't sound so positive, and people sometimes tune into my readings because they want a positive reading, but this is positive. It is positive to start out with no. Mm-mm. Right? And with some fire. And with some fire, getting ready. You know, the forests, sometimes they have to have fires. There are certain types of seeds for trees that unless there's a fire, those seeds don't get released to be germinated. So the same is true for you. You've got this prosperity seed, and it needs that fire. It needs a little anger. You're not being destructively angry. You're not attacking anybody. You're standing up for yourself. You're saying no to the resistance to your birthright. Then you've cleared the way to say yes. Then you've cleared the way to say yes to what you do want. Yes to the things that you say are going to be the way that they are going to be. Not to these people that say that they're more powerful than you, or the people that you believe are more powerful than you. You watch them cower and recoil when your spine straightens, and you just tell them in a fiery, meaningful, kind way, no. They run the other way. They don't know what to do. They're going to go find some other person to try to victimize, because that's just how it is. When you stand up to a bully, they go, oh, he was mean to me, right? You can't allow any of that. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that all of you are being bullied, obviously, but it can feel that way even if it's not intended that way. It can feel that way when you feel like you're stifled, you're tied up, that you have no voice, that you have no power in a situation, and you're making the choice now, right? You're making the choice that that's not going to be the case. You are flipping that script right around. You're writing a new script, and the first word of dialogue in that script is N-O. No. So good for you. All right, I do have a meditation based on this card called Using Your Sacred Power of No. And I also have a meditation based on the Pope card, which is called something, Overcoming Feelings of Powerlessness. So those are 2 meditations you may want to listen to if you have time today. And you can find all the tarot meditations right in the video description. There's a link to all those tarot meditations right in the video description of this video and every other tarot reading video I have. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a great reading. Super happy for all of you. Thank you to the amazing moderators. Today we had the lovely Jennifer, Diane, and Heather, and we will see everybody tomorrow for another general reading. Blessed be.